There was a time when I knew nothing. Hard to believe. But when I knew nothing, I had to go find how to do things. This is how I did it. Stand by. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rattlecan Guitar Restorations. I am James, and there was a time when I didn't know anything about, even basically setting up a guitar. If my guitar didn't work, I took it to my local guitar tech, he fixed it, and then he took all my money. And I knew my local guitar tech, and I knew that he wasn't really any smarter than I was. He just knew something that I didn't know. So when we were stationed in Japan, I decided with what leftover time I had that I was going to start to learn how to maintain and fix my own guitar. And then that branched out into fixing other types of guitars. And since I was in Japan and I had limited educational resources at my disposal, I went to the YouTubes. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to drag you through what I found to be my top 10 resources for information on YouTube. Now, the caveat to this is there are more channels out there than there were, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. How long have I been on YouTube? So there are going to be other sources out there for information, but these are the ones that I found to be the most useful at that time in my life, and kind of no order, but kind of an order. You'll see. Anyways, let's go to
number 10.
Dave's World of Fun Stuff. When I got my first non-Gibson-y kind of guitar, I started looking for YouTube videos on Strat style guitars, and I came across Dave Rom on his YouTube channel, Dave's World of Fun Stuff. Now, if you click on his playlists, this is one of the things that is extremely helpful. Is he has his playlists set up for types of guitars. So if you are looking at, let's say, Telecasters, you can click onto his Telecaster playlist, and then you can scroll down, and this whole playlist is nothing but different types of Telecasters that he has worked on over the years. And it can be a simple setup, it can be something really complex, replacing pickups or hunting down, wiring problems. There is all kinds of stuff on there that you will be able to find useful. So, he doesn't have a crazy shop. He's working out of his basement. It's a side gig for him. So it's, everything that he does is doable by you if you pay attention and you, invest in some basic tools, and you can follow directions, and you don't mind experimenting a little bit and finding out what your limits are. So anyways, that's Dave's World of Fun Stuff. And I've been following him for years.
Number 9.
The next guy that I found to be really, really useful on YouTube is Jerry Rosa, Rosa STRINGWORKS. I think he's out of California. I'm not really sure where he's located out of. Tons and tons and tons of information on repairs, setups. He does a lot of acoustic work. He does a lot of like bluegrass associated instruments, banjos, mandolins, acoustic guitars. I think he's even got a small playlist there for like a double bass. Lots of good information. Let's take a look at playlists. His playlists are okay. They're kind of all glommed together. He does a lot of shop talk stuff, which is something I appreciate. There it is. He's got an 8 video series for bass, double bass repair. Something I've only started to appreciate in the last year or so. He's got a section in there on machinery and metalworking, and some of that's crossing over into instruments, which I find extremely interesting. That's Jerry Rosa out of Rosa STRINGWORKS.
Number 8.
Randy Shartiger is another guy who I found tremendously helpful, super friendly too. Randy and I have had conversations over the past off of the list about different things. He's had kind of a tough go of things lately, but a very, very modest work area, but he gets a great number of instruments come across his workshop desk. Again, a lot of acoustic guitars, old Martin D28s. Let's see what his playlists are like. I'm a fan of playlists. So yeah, he's got his playlists are pretty decent. So there's a Martin 28. Yeah, he's got some cool Les Paul stuff. He has some kind of interesting instruments that will come across his desk. Again, modest area, entertaining to watch. That's Randy Shartiger, super nice guy, very down. Oh, he was the first time I had ever heard of the. Let's see, what is that? The Tony Rice Big Hole acoustic guitars. I had never heard of that before, and he was actually doing. I believe he's got a video where he actually does that conversion on a guitar, and I'd never heard of that. So that's kind of an interesting thing too. The House That Never Sleeps, Randy Shartiger.
Number 7.
Dane Nichols is another good guy that I learned a lot from. He is not only a repair and setup guy, he's also a builder, and he's got a couple of really nice guitar builds that he details. I mean, in exquisite detail, from start to finish. He's got a really nice shop, and I mentioned the really nice shops part of it. Because some of these guys have, big extensive shops. Some of them have backgrounds as something else besides, besides guitar builders and guitar technician type of stuff. Some of these guys are contractors on the side, but some of these guys, their guitar stuff is a side gig. And I like seeing the difference in somebody using a corner of their basement to do this kind of work, and some guys who have a purpose-built or a purpose-designed shop space for what they're doing. So that's really the reason that I mention it. This ES335 playlist, we click on this playlist, you can see, it just starts from, this is a piece of paper and this is where we're going, and that has 23 videos. So if you're into binging, Dane's got some great stuff. That's Dane Nichols, Jonah Custom Guitars.
Number 6.
Now, this guy, Big D Guitars, if you want to know what you can do to wood with stains and dyes, this is the guy to go to. I have it is unbelievable the amount of guitar tops that he will work with. Now, some of them he will purchase from guitar people who are making guitar bodies, and because his specialty really is staining guitars. Let's look through a playlist and see if we've got. Yeah, he does a really cool 53 Les Paul restoration. He's doing some super strat stuff. He's got a playlist that's talking about relicking, but relicking with a poly finish, which is kind of a pain. At least it is for me. But yeah, just excellent videos, because he tells you little tricks. I mean, just the one that I watched, one of his most recent ones, where he was talking about, is it that one? No, I thought it was even one that was more recent. He's still telling you the same information. Watch for this. These are the grits that I'm using. This is the product that I'm using. I'm using it. This is the mixture. This is the ratio that I'm using it at. Look out for this. Don't do this. Be sure and do that. All of his videos are like that. Excellent stuff. This is the place to go if you're thinking of doing a dye or a stain finish on your guitar. That's Big D Guitars.
Number 5.
OBrien Guitars. I came across Robbie OBrien, I believe, from a video that he did on an LMI. Robbie OBrien used to run a guitar building program out of Colorado, and he's the guy when it comes to building acoustic guitars, finishing acoustic guitars. He does a series called Tips du Jour, which was featured on the LMI site. LMI is a guitar supplier, guitar parts supplier out of California, and he does shop talks. He goes over basic hand tools. He does classes out of. If you're able to, I can only imagine what you would learn by going to do online classes or in-person classes with Robbie OBrien. He also does a video building course for both acoustic and electric guitars. But boy, there's so much great content on his site. Tips du jour mailbag. There's 149 videos. Could you learn something from 149 free videos? Yeah. OBrien Guitars, Robbie OBrien, great resource.
Number 4.
Lasalle TONEWORKS. This is a fun channel, and the reason that I say it's a fun channel is because the video production is not great. It is a couple of guys in the shop, and they're not professional video production guys, and that comes through. And I think that part of that is what makes it fun. But anyways, it's a John Hall is the face behind a lot of this. And they, again, lots of tips, lots of tricks. This is talking about building guitars. I think they do some repair, but most of the stuff that I've looked is just building. Let's look at this Blues Creek Guitars playlist. They do a lot of little quick tip type of stuff. Setting up and cutting a 12-string guitar nut. I don't know about you. Most people I know, if you're into guitars, somewhere you got a 12-string sitting around. They say 12 strings and mandolin players are the same. They spend half their time tuning and the other half playing out of tune. I'm a comedian and I don't know it. Lots of great information on here. Fixing various guitar sides and cracks. Great stuff. Lasalle TONEWORKS. I believe they sell their instruments under the Blues Creek Guitars moniker. Pennsylvania, maybe? That's where I want to say that they're at. Good stuff.
Number 3.
Crimson Custom Guitars. Holy buckets. Ben's got great stuff, great content. I enjoy his. First of all, he's a great craftsman. But he does some fun challenges. What can I build out of a fence post? Let's see what else. The Boba Fett build. There's a short version. There's a long version. There are some great. Some great guitar build off type stuff. Ben, what's his name? Ben Crow. He's a UK guy. And they've also gone from just building guitars into now offering guitar building tools and finishes, because they're on the other side of the pond, and sometimes it's hard to get things that we take for granted getting easily here in the States because of transport and duty. And that was even before the big stupid that started in 2020 came around. So yeah, it's a lot of great stuff. There's some great shop talk. There's some great tours and explaining why they put this here and why they moved into this place. Yeah, good stuff. Ben Crow, Crimson Custom Guitars.
Number 2.
Any list of top influences on YouTube wouldn't be complete without mentioning the STEWMAC channel. Stuart McDonald. They are instrument suppliers and distributors. They're actually located here in Ohio. I've not been there yet, but shoot me an invite. I'll run over. Dan Earlywine is probably the most prominent face on there, who's been building and repairing setup instruments, since God had a dog. So great playlists, great tips, troubleshooting common guitar problems. There's 12 videos in that one. Build your own LP style guitar. There's 22 videos in that one. The Essential Guide to Making Nuts. 13 videos on nut making. There's a lot of great content there. They are going to tend to push and feature items that they sell. It's a company website. That's what you expect. I've got some STEWMAC stuff that works incredibly well. Some other items that they sell, you can source them elsewhere for a lot less money. But you have to go apples to apples. Sometimes the quality that you will get from an off-brand, it may be equal to what they offer, it may be lesser than what they offer. You just have to experiment. You have to ask around. Great series of how to build an amp kit. They build they have guitar kits. My understanding is that the guitar manufacturing using STEM principles course that I'm taking, my understanding is that all of our hardware kits are STEWMAC items. We'll see. That class starts for me in about 3.5 weeks. So yeah, STEWMAC, tons of great stuff there. A great site to go to look for what, especially tools. If you're trying to source a tool for a certain job, look for that video on there, and they'll show you their tool, and you may be able to source that elsewhere.
And finally, number 1.
And last but not least, I am going to recommend to you to go to Six Gun Guitars YouTube channel for 2 particular reasons. One, his stuff, he's got some great videos, finishing stuff with True Oil, finishing stuff with shellac, different colors of finishes, guitar making tips, jigs, and techniques. The downside is all his stuff is like a decade old, but it all holds up. The information is 100% applicable to what we're doing today. This is the video where I got my plans on how to make cam clamps for my guitar building. I got those from this website. He also has a book You can get it on Amazon. It's called Acoustic Guitar Making: How to Make Tools, Templates, and Jigs. If you are if you're looking to start building your own acoustic guitars, and maybe not just a one-off, maybe more than one, you will quickly discover that in order to do that, you have to learn how to make the tools and jigs to hold the part that you need to make the guitar. So it's a multi-step process, and this is a fantastic book on how to make the tools that you need to make your parts to make your guitar. It is, it's over 500 pages, 1,600 pictures. I have it. I think it's a fantastic book. If you're going to make acoustic guitars, that is a great book. Brian Forbes is his name. I don't know what's going on with him, because he's not put, I think his most recent video is like 8 years old. So that's kind of a loss for us, because we're not getting that content from him, but his stuff is still up, and there is still a ton of great information because if you just look at his popular videos, there's one on Danish oil, there's one with True Oil, cam clamps, French polishing. It's great content. So that's my top 10. Not necessarily the most recent, but knowledge is knowledge, and you only know what you know. And these are the places that I have gone to repeatedly over the years if I need to learn how to do something. And if you pick up an inexpensive guitar, if you pick a guitar up at a yard sale for $5, you can learn a lot. And if you screw it up, you're out $5. So don't sweat it. Don't be afraid to try something. Don't be afraid to try something new. Get on to YouTube University. Find somebody who has already done this. They may tell you the pitfalls of what you need to look out for, or different ways that they would have done it to have accomplished that goal. Anyways, that's my top 10. I'm James. This is Rattlecan Guitar Restorations. I am on my way to get an MRI on my shoulder because it sounds like I've torn my rotator cuff again. So, good times. Remember, if I can do it, you can do it. Have a good weekend. Cheers.
Hey, if you like this episode of Rattlecan Guitar Restorations, you might want to check this video out as well. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you'd like to help the channel grow, consider stepping over to our Patreon page and giving that a look. Y'all have a good weekend. Cheers.